as I mentioned, Kevin Durant with the Golden State Warriors dynasty. Whose legacy was more impacted with the Warriors winning the title? Was it Steph or KD? And should Kevin Durant regret leaving Golden State? This was the biggest question after they won the championship. KD's name was trending worldwide over Twitter, analysts, and it was all over the sports show. So I definitely want to get Kyle's opinion because, again, he is the Golden State Warriors fanboy, and I want to know what he's got to say about that. Whose legacy impacts this more, Steph or KD's? And should have KD regret leaving Golden State?
I think it impacts Steph Curry's legacy more because he's the one that won. You know what I mean? He's the head of that attack, the head of that snake on that team. He's the one that was playing, and for the Golden State Warriors. So that cements his legacy, especially getting his first MVP Finals award and the new trophy named for best conference player in the Western Conference as well. So should Kevin Durant regret leaving? I mean, you have to ask him. I feel like he made his decision. It's not like he was traded away and then they won without him, and he didn't want to leave. He made a choice to walk away, and there were whispers that he didn't want to. He loved how they played, so he wanted to join them, but then he wanted to be the man, and then supposedly he suddenly it was like, I want to join my buddy in Brooklyn. And then somebody else wanted to come and join their party, which was finally a party that was not on the dance floor of a strip club, So, you have to. I mean, I don't think that Kevin Durant is an all-world player, and he won. He's considered one of the best players in the league. That's him leaving a team and then they win a couple of years later without him after he won with them. I don't think that's going to ruin his legacy at all. He's a multiple all-time all-star and one of the best players in this generation. So I don't think that does anything to his legacy. He might regret leaving there, but I don't think he'll ever say that publicly or admit that publicly.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Steph's legacy is affected more because he added another ring and, like all the various titles that he got this year. So, I mean, Steph's the man right now, you know what I mean? And probably will be for years to come. Like that, at the end of the day, like Kevin Durant is a great player. So it's not like it's really going to impact his legacy like that. We're always going to talk about Kevin Durant, remember him as a great player, but Steph Curry is a guy who came in and actually changed the structure of the game. You know what I mean? That's his legacy. Like, kids are not coming up wanting to be Kevin Durant. They're coming up wanting to be Steph Curry. You see it on the courts all the time. Everybody's launching threes, So, I mean, that's what Steph Curry did. So as far as like impact, which is what I figured determines legacy, you got to hand that to Steph Curry all day, every day. As far as whether KD should regret it, it depends. I mean, he's making more money in Brooklyn, but you know what I mean? Like, or am I wrong? You're the basketball savant. I'm not here to argue that, because his money ain't my money. I would assume why else leave to go to Brooklyn, because he wanted to be the primary option on the team. I mean,
no. I was just saying about the money.
I don't care.
Like
I don't care about being the biggest goldfish in a small bowl.
Yeah.
I don't care. You know what I mean? So if that was his choice because he wanted to be the number one option, then he should have lived that out. You know what I mean? But again, like, I guess I get annoyed with these conversations because it's like, there's a reason these are 7-game series. All right. I can step on the court and I'm pretty good. You know what I mean? But I can get beat by anybody one-on-one in one game. They're not going to take me 7 games if they're not as good as me. So at the end of the day, this, like, it's pointless to even debate this stuff because Golden State is the best team in the league, and it will be for years to come. So I don't really care how Kevin Durant feels about it. You know what I mean? It's, you know, like, I just don't.
Oh, he's gonna get you on Twitter now.
Oh man, you just activated his Twitter fingers.
I got 2 thug thumbs too. Like,
I like that.
And I'm not a Golden State fan, but I mean, like, when it comes down to it, like, they're the truth. You know, like, Brooklyn Nets were a lie. So were the Celtics. So were the Suns. And I'm fans of both of those teams, but they were a lie. Yeah, the Suns were a lie. Of course, I'm gonna say that. Of course, I'm gonna say that. They actually choked. To Dallas? Man. Who in the basketball world didn't think that it was going to be the Suns and the Warriors in the conference finals?
Right.
Everybody named moms.
So the Suns were a lie. You know what I mean? I still love my boys, but they didn't live up to it. I'm just saying, like, if you want to hang out and, you know, knock back some beers, I'll chill with CP3 all day. But
could you please call me and let me know? Could you please let me know when that happens? Because I actually want to do that too.
Yeah, right.
When he gives you the call, please put me on.
Or him or Book, you know what I mean? Like, I'll chill with them all day. They great guys, but like, we talking basketball, and they didn't get the job done. Neither did the Celtics. And then that's damn sure did. You know what I mean? So, like, come on, man. Like, all this takes away. Talking about Kevin Durant takes away from the Warriors, and I'm not that dude. You know what I mean? I'm not a Warriors fan by any means, but I'm just not that dude. I'm not going to take away from what they did. They did an enormous thing this year. You know what I mean? In the West.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, we're comparing him to a guy, Kevin Durant, who played 4 games in the postseason. This postseason, and was home.
And I thought I was going for the throat, but see, he's
been fishing for a long time. So
yeah,
hey man, the Warriors. I mean, the Nets. They just extend their season by having 4 extra practices. That's it.
Yeah, right. All right, yeah.
And this is coming from a Nets fan, so yeah.
From a Nets fan, yeah. So you see where I'm coming from. Like, you know, you just can't argue. You're the one that always says it. Like, you can't argue facts. So, like, you can't, you know what I mean? Like, there's no debate here. Like, these dudes are phenomenal.
Shout out to Chris Chioso, who used to be on the Nets roster and now is just won a ring with the Warriors. Just interesting fun fact there.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that's fun for Kevin Durant.
Yeah, one more, he'll tie KD in ring count.
Look, let me ask you. Let me throw the question back at you, not to extend things, but right, Wells, like, so like the framing the question: should KD regret it? Right, because I know you're gonna respond to that, but in your answer, you know, I'm asking you, like, to consider what was his priority. Yeah. Because I don't know. You guys could tell me if he's making more money in Brooklyn, if that was the issue. If it was just him being a number 1 player, he got that. So no, right? But if championships are important, he should have kept his butt in the bag. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it depends on what his priorities are.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't know what Kevin Durant is thinking, because he is a very odd person who's always responding back to somebody on Twitter. So that's like asking me, you know,
just tweet him and find out.
Good. I don't want to get attacked on Twitter. I'm good. I'm trying to build a reputation, not tarnish it before it even starts.
Yeah, but you be the good guy. Yeah,
I would. Well, he'll still find a way to attack me, even if I'm the good guy. I'll be like, "Hey, KD, I love you." He'll tell me to go fuck off. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm not a Nets fan anymore. But
I'm a Nets fan without being a Kevin Durant fan.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Okay, in terms of him, oh yeah,
Sean Carter, Jay-Z. All right, go ahead.
In terms of him leaving, should he regret leaving Golden State? If I was KD, I would. But also goes to show you the NBA media is a bunch of hypocrites. Because when he first signed with the team in 2016, how many times he heard, "You ruined the league. You should have never went there. You made them unbeatable. You ruined the game of basketball, blah, 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 blah." And then KD was like, "Okay, fine. Yeah, I don't respect my 2 championships that I'm on with them. I'm going to leave and go try to make my own and try to continue to grow my own legacy." So it was like, okay, he went there. He got killed for it. And then he left because people were saying, "Well, we won't respect your rings that you win." And he's still getting killed for it. So it's just like,
I don't know about that.
There's no happy medium here.
I don't argue with you on much. because you just start throwing numbers at me, and I'm just like, I see it. But at the end
stat
of the
monster.
day, right? Yeah, stat monster just drowns me, and I'm like, okay, you win. Like, just because I don't know anything at this point. But like, to that point, right? It wasn't Kevin Durant's fault if he went to Golden State to win a championship. He is not the person that came up with the concept of the super team. You know what I mean? Honestly, that big three that they formed in the Celtics in 2008 was responsible for every super team afterwards, including Miami, including Kevin Durant and Golden State. It's not fair to put that blame on his shoulders. So I agree with you on that. You know what I mean? The media, we don't need to discuss how hypocritical the media is, because if he left Golden State because being number one was more important than being on a championship winning team, then he disproves their point right there. He's not just signing up but that is kind of weak sauce on his part. If he left Golden State because he was sick of media criticism, man, you know what I mean? Like, do what you got to do. You know, if he went all the way 3,000 miles away to try to prove to the media, like that's a good way to go insane, trying to get the media to be happy with you. They're never going to be happy with you. If it bleeds, it leads. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? So if he did that, he should regret it, but not because he didn't win a championship this year. He should regret it because he was pandering to the media. So much for Mr. Tough Guy Twitter, right? But tweet back at ESPN, right? I'm saying, right? I'm not.
You got a point, yeah. You got a point. You got a point. No,
I'm smarter with my money than he is too. So.
No, you definitely got a point, because it's like, oh, you went to Golden State, you ruined the league, you just made a team that won 73, or that went 73-9, unbeatable, and then he won 2 championships, was the Finals MVP, and it was like, okay, well, you guys still not giving me my respect, so I'm gonna leave and try to do my own. And then they went, it's like, well, damn, KD, you should have never left. So I was like, yo, what is with the total hypocrisy, double standard? So
you said it on the Hoops All In page this week. Well, we said it through you. You know, the truth of the matter is that Golden State was a winning team regardless. They were a winning team before KD, during KD, and after. So him going there to kind of like, oh, we're going to form some super. They were already a super team. They just did it organically. As organically as you can, you know. But I mean, like, him getting the blame for being, forming up a super team is ridiculous. Because think about it, right? Oklahoma City, right? I mean, like, come on, man. The Thunder was a super team. If you take James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook, and put them on one team, you automatically feel like that's a super team. You know, like, come on, man. He didn't, like, if that was the case, if he just wanted to be around a bunch of other star players, you know what I mean, to rack up the victories, the Thunder was doing that. They just couldn't close. So he went to Golden State because he was sick of being a contributing player to a team that couldn't close the deal. I don't blame him for that. Not at all. Especially since he saw everybody else doing it. And the more championships you get, the more endorsements you get, the better your money looks. So I don't blame him for that at all. It was ego. He fell victim to his ego. I don't want people to criticize me. Good luck. You in the public eye, bro.
That's true. I feel like also coming from NBA legends too, like Charles Barkley said, he was on ESPN and he said, well, KD's got to win a championship now to validate
Charles
his
Barkley
legacy.
can shut up because he never won a championship. I don't want to hear anything.
Oh, whoa.
It's true.
Oh, damn.
He talks a lot about what it takes to win championships. I don't take money advice from a homeless person. But why am I going to take a championship advice from Charles Barkley?
I just want to.
I'm in a bad mood, I think, over these guys. Like, these guys are. It's always just put me in a bad mood. You got all these talking heads because nobody knows what they're talking about. Anybody can say anything. It's what you do that matters. You know what I mean? If Kevin Durant had won, at least made it to the finals, we'd be having a completely different conversation.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's not a matter of him going to Brooklyn. It's a matter of the fact that he didn't do what it took for his team to win. That's the issue. Right? You wanted to prove a point. You did a terrible job doing it. Yeah.
I mean, well, to Katie's point about that, like I said, he didn't really have a full team, and he didn't know that he was going to go in such a wonky situation. He was like, hey, I'm going to play my boy Kyrie. Then you have unforeseen circumstances that show up. It's like, well, damn, They really only been together for 2 years. I don't know what people's like, oh, you only won one playoff series in your 3 years in Brooklyn. They've been together for 2 solid years. The first year, we all know, KD was rehabbing from that Achilles. That first year was a wash. The second year,
I agree.
Kyrie Irving sprains his ankle, and James Harden is playing on one leg because he went to the strip club too many times and messed up his hamstring. So it was literally KD by himself going up against the eventual champions, the Milwaukee Bucks, in 2021. And he was a toenail away from beating them single-handedly and going to the NBA Finals. So a lot of people are just saying, well, KD, you messed up your legacy, blah, blah, blah. Like you mentioned, Charles Barkley, obviously, Charles Barkley is an all-time great player. But, he does say some things that are outrageous.
Legacy. Like I said, I agree with you on that. And I agreed with both of your points on that. I don't think his legacy is going to be tarnished to the point where he's still Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like at the end of the day. My point is that he wanted to be the guy, and he wasn't the guy. Not this year.
I want to ask you, quick question before we move on. Who was the best player on that team when KD joined? Was it Steph or KD? Because everybody knew when KD joined the Golden State Warriors, he was the de facto. Quincy Carter, Mason, Shaquille Goodwin, and others. He was the de facto. Sorry about that. I know why Google's listening. But when KD joined the Warriors, he was the de facto best player on that team. Everybody knew that. Steph was homegrown because he was drafted, but we all knew. We all knew KD was the best player on that Warriors team.
All right, based upon his number lines, I can't disagree with that, right? Like his stats. Yeah.
So, but I'm going to your point because it's like when people say,
Worlds, like I asked you, he was the best player in what sense? Just the stat line, of course, but he's going to be the best player on 90% of NBA teams. You know what I mean? I can say almost 100%, right? He go to Phoenix tomorrow. He's going to be the best player on that team. Doesn't mean they're going to win a championship. You know what I mean? So like, what's more important? Your stat line? Well, ask Russell Westbrook, what's more important? Your personal stat line or your team championships, right? So yeah, you're right. But is it about rings or is it about him just wanting to be the man? Because this sport requires 5 people on the floor. And you're right. He almost beat Milwaukee single-handedly. It was amazing to watch. But the problem there is he wasn't a leader for the Brooklyn Nets. When you're the best player, it comes along with the responsibility of leading the rest of the team. Am I wrong?
That's right.
Oh, you're right.
He was never a leader. He was never a leader. All he did was complain. Then nobody else was stepping it up. But that's between you and your team. Lead them. I bet you that the Nets players were cheering when they heard Kevin Durant was coming to town. Like, finally, we're going to start making some noise. Why? Not just because he's a great player, but when you see a Michael Jordan or a Steph Curry, you expect them to come in and lead that team to victory. And that's why I think Steph Curry's a better overall player to me. Because for me, winning matters more than my personal stat line. I want All In to win, Reign to win, more than I want to be the MVP.
Okay, we will touch on this in a little bit.
It's something I'm a little passionate about because I believe in team over individual.
Yeah,
in a lot of cases,
definitely,
you know what I mean?
Definitely, no, for sure.
But I'm gonna say this: one of the best. He's always going to be one of the best individual players on the planet. I'll never take that away from him. You know?
No, for sure. I'm gonna say this.
Would I take on my team? Right? If we phrase it that way, I'd take Steph Curry any day because he's going to build a better team. He's going to lead that team. You know.
I'll say this before, so we move on. Curry built the bus because we all know the whole bus driver thing that Charles is talking about. Curry built the bus. He was driving the bus. He got stuck on the road. KD came in and fixed it. They went on a good run for 3 years. Then KD was like, I don't want to ride with y'all no more. Steph redesigns the bus, and they continue to glory after that. So, they both got their championships. Both are great players. But we could talk about that all day long.